Alright, hello everybody, Skyrim here, back again with another Diablo Immortal video update on the post maintenance patch balance changes. So here we go. I'm at the testing dummies. Now, I have images I'm going to put on the screen of, they're just one sample a piece, but I'm going to put them on the screen, very simple. I'm not going to show it here. I mean, I could do it, but first of all, the first series that I'm going to post on the screen here is the Ice Storm Freeze build, of course, that, you know, is the bane of so many people's existence, even though there are plenty of counters and other things just as bad out there. But for whatever reason, this was a pain point for a lot of people. Here we go. Put the images up on the screen here. We have... I got them. Okay, we got before, we got after. All right, here we go. The first, this is pre-patch. Boom. All right, this is what I was doing anyway with what have you over a minute. And now you'll see the after the nerf. Oops. After the nerf, boom, there you go. There's a side-by-side comparison. Obviously, it took a little bit of a hit. 20% on the revolution speed reduction. 20%. So that's basically just 20% flat damage loss. So there you go. That looks a bit more than 20%, but, you know, here it is what it is. It's still going to be effective as far as crowd control goes. Now, here's the other kicker. I won't be able to test this until Battlegrounds goes live. But the CC reduction over time, that's going to be very interesting on, like, for everybody. Because I have a feeling, sadly, that you're just going to run roughshot now. As far as like on attack, there's going to be barely anything. If it's got diminishing returns on all the CCs, I feel like that's kind of going to be problematic. Even though people were, you know, sick of CCs, I understand. Obviously, I played enough of this too. I hear you, but now it feels we'll have to see. I don't know. This is all like speculation right now. Like I said, this video is all this time is before actually testing the Battlegrounds out, because that's not available to do so yet. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least. But again, getting back to the Ice Storm from Wizards, it was a nice area effect crowd control. Now the freeze with the Bluster Crux happens every 4 seconds, I think it is. Or players can only be frozen once every 4 seconds. And the ability itself, let me take this other stuff off the screen for right now. Pop, 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 pop. There we go. The ability itself here, let me see, where is it? There we go. When core target location that continually damages and pulls nearby enemies in its center. It might be in the actual skill. It says it's somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Pulling nearby enemies, yeah, that lasts 4 seconds. And let's see, dealing X amount of whatever damage your reso does. The wind core can only pull enemy players to its center once every 4 seconds. So it basically, whenever you use it, they'll be pulled once in the duration, every 4 seconds. So there's no really diminishing returns on this as far as the CC goes, because the skill itself does 4 seconds, and it can only pull a player once in 4 seconds. So it's still going to do what it does. There's no real change. Now, the curious thing that we're going to find out with other classes and whatnot is, like, say, the stacking of fear from Necros, I feel is going to go unaffected. The pillars and all that kind of stuff will probably be, you know, what is it apply, the diminishing returns will apply to. But I'm not entirely sure if they factored the fear into it. If not, then you're just going to have Necros everywhere doing fear stacks constantly, as they have been anyway. But if that is effective, we're gonna find out. Like I said, this is all speculation. We're gonna find out. But anyway, on to the next thing. I did another one with
I have much to show you.
my
At
old,
least you are not
well, one of my
rash.
old beam build. That let's just put this one on. All right. I'm not gonna show it here, but I just wanted to show you like the skill set up on the screen. But yeah, the old crystal. Now here's the kicker with the crystal. It used to be 30, I think 30 seconds. I have to look. I forget what the patch notes was. 30, 35 seconds. I think it was 30 seconds, and they reduced it to 25. So watch the cooldown of the crystal here. 24 seconds counting down already. So yeah, it's 25. Now I have the helmet that causes it to last longer. So now we'll get to see bottom corner here how long it stays up for before I can cast it again. 7 seconds with my like beneficial durations, cooldowns, etc. that I currently have on, which isn't all that much. So yeah, 7 seconds. That's probably going to be for the majority of everybody. So there you go. It used to be, and I also have, you know, the frozen garments or frost weaver. Yeah, that just damage increased with it. This is the one that makes it last. Increased duration 39%. So you have to have this one on to still have that cooldown on it before you can use it again. Be about that short as it was for me. It's going to be 7 seconds. So that's actually not too bad. You can almost, I don't want to say spam ice crystal, but you know, if you want to use it, makes you more of a stationary target again, sure, but I made it work pretty well in the past. I'm gonna try to give it a go again, only because let's get to the damage change they made. It's not that significant. It really isn't. It might have seemed that way on paper, but it really isn't. So we'll go before and after again. Beam before was doing this, which is still quite significantly lower than the ice freeze storm. But it's kind of tricky. The burn from the beam is kind of tricky at times. It's a little deceptive on how it does damage. So now we'll go to the after. Okay, and this is just again one sample test of each for, well, the other one's 59 seconds. So tack barely a little bit more onto that. It's kind of inconsequential. But there you go. There's before and after. Since the change, it is. I mean, for they did a 20% to the searing shoulders. Let's see, close these up right now. But yeah, they did a 20% to the searing judgment shoulders increase, and then they also did a 20% on the burn. So that's kind of tricky, and that's kind of interesting how that's going to play out, because as we know with potency, it's kind of a wild card in how things seem to affect you. Potency, yes, is what, you know, determines a lot of it, willpower and such, but honestly, how the game registers the dot ticks and how much is, I feel, kind of still wild. Definitely a wild card. So we'll have to see once we can actually get into Battlegrounds and test this stuff out, which is the whole point of this. So anyway, let's put that up there one more time. The after and before of the ice beam, the crystal beam, the fire beam, that is. We didn't even use, they increased the frost beam as well, I think 20%, but that doesn't have the extra additional 20% from the burn, so as the fire beam does, obviously. So anyway, there you guys go. There's a quick rundown of it. Not necessarily a quick rundown, and you know how I go sometimes, but that should hopefully cover it. Initial testings, like straight out the gate. So I'm gonna try to get this up as soon as possible, and there you go. So we'll see how the rest of everything else plays out for everybody across the board on all classes. I feel like things are gonna get pretty wildly crazy, as they already have been at the start of this season with the matchmaking in Battlegrounds especially. It's been all over the place. Sometimes you'll get, I've been in groups with like triple digit rezos, and half my team, and I'm like, what is going on? And against full team of like 3 to 5k rezo, and I'm like, all right, I see you. But anyway, take care everybody, until the next time, see ya.